flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pretty big crowd today.
We haven't seen it like this, and
The guy from Nashville can call in, is that right?
I got the phone on.
Okay, so
I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
let the record show everyone's here, but Mr. Groby, his attorney, attending a funeral. Who made the motion for the consent agenda? Tim.
I'll second it.
Okay. Second by Supervisor Schultz. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Is Grant on the phone?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. We need a motion and a second to approve Cornerstone Commercial Contractors Pay Request #1 for downtown rehab construction work in Carson, Macedonia.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Shay, second by Schultz. Thank you. Okay, any discussion on that?
Yeah. Grant that $29,777. Potawatomi County's paying that, right? And we get reimbursed from.
Yes, so once I process the request to the state and they approve it, so after they review the invoice and just the request in general, then I'll notify the county that it's been approved. And so then if the county can then make that payment, they'll just receive an electronic deposit in about 30 days or so. Maybe a little bit longer, it just kind of depends.
Have we been getting reimbursed about that time, every 30 days after the request goes in?
Well, I mean, yeah, generally, but sometimes it might take 45 days. I'm not really sure what their process is. I just know that there's not always the consistency that grantees would like, but yeah, I would say it's generally 30 to 45 days.
So on this first one, Grant, am I signing this as the claimant certification?
Sorry, let me pull that up. There's a standard CDBG form that would be signed. It's called a GAX.
Yeah, I'm looking at the GATS. It's GATS form, State of Iowa, and it says claimant certification, then agency certification.
Yeah, so that would be just signed and dated by the board chair, and then that just goes along with the CDBG request.
So sign where it says claimant certification. Is that correct?
Yes.
For this one, which will be for $32,444.
That's right, and yeah, the other part of that is just reimbursement to the county for admin costs that have gone into the project.
The other part of that, when you say the other part, what's that?
$29,777 is the actual expense. $2,667 is MAPPA's invoice.
Right. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's certified amount is, so the certified amount is the $53,000. $92.
Yeah, so the total, the total invoice from Cornerstone is the $53,092.25.
Okay. How much of the project
And
is?
the other.
Go ahead.
Sorry, say that again.
How much of the project is completed at this point for this?
Well, work started in May, early May. Honestly, I couldn't say at this point. Probably 10%.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, number 2, approve and authorize chairman to sign program agreement between MAPPA and Pot County for Amendment 1 for cities, Iowa, downtown revitalization, 19 Pot 01, Potawatomi County, Iowa, downtown revitalization.
So moved.
Second.
So this request and then the following two, these are really just time extension requests for our admin contract with the county to administer some currently open cities grants. Each grant cycle, there are often several communities wrapped up in one overall grant, and not all of those local projects finish at the same time. So it just kind of depends on the schedule of the projects. We may not even have any further expenditures to the project, but we'll still complete the grant reporting for Iowa West, or that's required for Iowa West.
Okay, yep, I got a motion, a second, motion by, O'Shea and seconded by Schultz. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. So now we need a motion made and a second to approve and authorize chairman to sign program agreement between MAPPA and Pot County for Amendment 3 for cities Macedonia, Minden, Trainer, and Walnut projects, 17 Pot 01, Potawatomi County, cities, administration, cities of Macedonia, Minden, Trainer, and Walnut projects.
Second. Go ahead. You can have it.
You're good.
You're
good. You got it.
Second.
Oh, I got Shay down.
Same thing here, right, Grant?
Yep, same thing.
So any questions for anybody? There are 2 forms to sign here. There's 2 forms on this one. Is there a reason for that? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, approval, this 4th one, approval and authorize chairman to sign program agreement between MAPPA and Pot County for amendment for Avoca Macedonia Neola and Trainer, 20 Pot Co. 03 Potawatomi County Cities Administration, cities of Avoca Macedonia Neola and Trainer.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Shay. Is this different here, Grant, or is this the same?
It's the same kind of deal. Just yeah.
An extension?
There are currently, yeah.
How far are we extending these out when we extend these?
Well, these I think these are all for the end of this calendar year. When Iowa West makes their grant awards, it seems like recently they're doing like 1 or maybe 2 year grant contracts, and it doesn't always leave enough time for some of these types of projects to get done. So that's kind of why you're seeing these extension requests, just because we want to just have enough time to close out the projects and do all the proper reporting that they require.
This, local one's gotta be done, isn't it? I don't know what trainer did it.
No, well, the city's had some turnover with their administrator, and basically I need pay requests or invoices from them to prepare the reimbursement request. So I know they've had some internal things going on, so
Okay.
I think it's just as long as I can get the invoices from them to process reimbursement, that can get closed out.
We don't have any money, the county have any money sitting out there then on these?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, thank you, Grant. Hopefully, you'll have these, some of these wrapped up, or most of them wrapped up by the end of the year.
Yep, okay, well,
Okay.
thank you all.
Okay, have a good day. Thank you. Okay, Jenna Limerick, Director HR, discussion and/or decision on approval of the 2021 union contract between Pot County and ASME Local 2364 Courthouse Union. So move.
Second.
I'm gonna make you sweat a little more.
Wait for you to say something.
Well,
Okay, we got a motion and a
say?
second, Jen?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Did the board have any questions about it? I think you've all seen it, we've talked about it multiple times. The union has approved and ratified, so.
Okay.
These were all just 1 year
Correct,
deal, right?
correct.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, so on these, all the members need to sign, is that correct?
Yes, please.
And
since Mr. Groby is out today, I think just the 4 of you is fine.
Okay, do they only have, 2 members then?
Well, no, and all of the union contracts are a little bit different about who they have sign them. Some might have 2 sign, some might only have 1 sign. So Julie Day Gable, you know, she is their union rep, and so she's the primary signer for all of them, which you see there. And then sometimes the union steward will sign, sometimes more than one will sign.
Pardon?
Sometimes one union steward will sign and sometimes more will sign.
Yeah, it looks like a Jake or a John signed.
Yes. Jake from 911.
But this one represents,
The one you just approved is the courthouse union, correct? He's the union president for ASME, so it would be for.
custodians, recycling center, animal control, treasurer's clerk, recorder, planning, elections, certified animal control, certified animal registry, county clerk, and then maintenance workers. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Next up is approval of the 21-22 union contract between Pot County and ASME Local 2364 Road. So that's the same local, right?
Correct.
Just two roads. Moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion there? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. The next up is approval of the 2022 union contract between Pot County and ASME Local 2364-911.
So moved.
Second.
Where's that?
Oh,
Right
there it is, okay.
You made the motion, right, Mr. Supervisor Wickman?
Yep.
And second, Shay. Any discussion? These are all 1 year, right? Jana?
Yes.
Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. Moving along, David Byer, Chief Information Officer, discussion and/or decision to approve and authorize chairman to sign Tyler agreement to add Socrata Open Finance Suite.
So, Mitch and Scott and I have been working on this for a couple months where we've reached out to Tyler to look at their software that makes finance data available on the internet for citizens and internally with department heads, deputies, those types. Basically, it allows, it's a transparency tool that would allow citizens to see various things about county budget, county expenditures, things of that nature, graphs, charts, those kinds of things. We've done some diligence, reached out to other customers, had several demos with Tyler. It looks like a software that we could use, and I can, Mitch, if you want to talk about it some more, but I think looks good going forward. As far as cost, one-time cost of $46.80, and then recurring cost of $13.06. That would just be included in the Tyler bill that we pay annually anyway.
And it also replaces what OpenGov is what we had before, which was roughly $10,000 a year. So the difference is actually about $3,600 from what we were already paying and really didn't utilize. So I think this is a good step forward. And it sounds like it's gonna be about a 30-day implementation once we kind of get rolling, and then, we can look at it internally before we release it out to the public and just see what all, details we want out there and stuff. But from the people we talked to, we got some really good feedback on it. So it does sound like there's a lot of work after we get the implementation done.
Does that come out of your budget, David?
It would, yeah.
Is that your recommendation, Nick, or Mitch, to move forward with this?
It is.
So move.
Second.
You guys wouldn't have that problem if you'd make the motion in the first place.
I mean, I knew Mr.
I don't know, what are you putting down there? I got
Oh.
Schultz.
So, with some other Tyler products, there's the, I don't know what you want to say, the keeper of the Tyler person that's, can turn the switches on and stuff. Is this piece of it under Mitch's?
So we would, IT grants privileges and rights to various pieces of the software. Mitch would have full rights to do whatever he needs to do with this software. So he's really, in my mind, would be the owner of the software, who knows all the buttons and bells and whistles of it. And we would grant him the rights to do all that. So that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So you would potentially let some of the departments have their own little pieces of it,
I think it definitely, like I said, get the implementation done first, and then reach out to the different departments and see what their thoughts on how it looks first, and then, go from there. Like I said, it should be relatively hands off for everyone once it's there, so.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Approval and authorize CIO to sign Cox Commercial Agreement Amendment for Metro Ethernet Service.
What's this for, David?
So right now, we pay Cox monthly for fiber between here and the jail. We had signed a 5-year contract back about 3 years ago. It would expire February of 2023. Since we're installing the point-to-point microwave between here and there, and we're looking to work with the city on their fiber, we're moving this to a month-to-month agreement. Instead of expiring in February 23, we could cancel it at any time. I believe we're about a month off from canceling it, but they've granted us the month-to-month, which is awesome. In other words, we were going to have to pay them until 2023 for services we didn't really want or need. They're allowing us to go month to month, which gives us the freedom to cancel anytime. Right now, we pay $2,088 a month for the service with them. Once we cancel that, we would be saving $2,088 a month. So between now and February 2023, that's a savings of about $40,000, which will be nice, of course. So all you're signing today, or allowing me to sign, I guess, is to move to month instead of being beholden to that contract.
Motion by Shay,
I'll second.
second by Schultz.
David, it says monthly recurring service charge is $1,044. Would you come up with the $2,088?
So there's 4 pages to that. There's 2,044 references in that. There's one each direction.
There's 2.
From here to the jail, from jail to here. So you pay times 2.
And then when we get the fiber that we're working with the city on, we'll have our redundancy. And
We'll have fiber through them, and then we'll have our point-to-point as well.
Awesome.
So we control one, and then they control the other, but we'll have 2.
What's the fiber with the city piece of it?
So they are ratcheting down the last few connections between here and there. They've already got a fiber ring, around the city, and they already had it going up 16th.
Okay.
They added an extension from roughly the intersection by Walmart there to go into the jail, and put in their switch. And once that's all quote-unquote done, then we can have that connection between here and there.
So the city did fiber for all of the controlling of their traffic?
Yeah, I mean, they've got buildings and facilities all over the city, right? And so they've got fiber running to just about everywhere.
Pump stations or wherever
Pump
else.
stations, traffic lights, little little public works buildings here and there.
Right.
And so they're doing a lot of fiber, and we're just basically jumping on that. And our building wasn't too far from where their fiber was, so.
Right.
We'll have an agreement with them to do that. I mean, that would be something we sign on and we have an arrangement with and what have you. But it'll be a 1 gig link, and then our point-to-point will be 2 gigs. So we'll have 2 nice pipes. This Cox, just for comparison, is 200 meg. We're paying $2,000 a month for it. At the time, it was decent. Now it's not, and we shouldn't be paying that much for it anyway. So this will be a nice thing to get rid of. We'll save money and we'll increase our speeds.
You're saying we're about a month out?
I think so, yeah. Yep.
The city doesn't do it, they have a third party that does the fiber stuff?
It maintains it,
Or,
that builds it, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not, it's not city employees installing it,
Right.
it's third parties.
have you ever dealt with those third parties yet at all?
No,
Okay. I thought maybe you'd talk to them about some of the other connections we're trying to do.
Not those specific parties. We are looking at some other connections out for the new road shop on Eastern Hills Drive.
Yeah,
I think that's a different entity.
okay. Okay, any other questions? This has for your signatures, David, so.
Yeah, I can sign that if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's fine with me. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, approval and authorize chairman to sign Bishop US Bank addition to contract.
So what those are is, I think maybe a month or two ago, you guys signed the Bishop contract prior. Those were for all new equipment. So the new copiers that went all throughout. Bishop already had customers in the building. And so what you're seeing in front of you are those contracts to push them under the umbrella of the other contract, if that makes sense. It's also adding on all the printers that were already in-house under their umbrella as well.
What's the US Bank?
US Bank is who they do their leases with.
Okay.
So you're not really doing it with,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your recommendation, David?
Absolutely.
So moved. Second.
It's the Red Bull.
So motion and a second. Any other discussion? How long are we, 2 months now with this deal?
Yep.
So it's working out pretty.
So far, so good. There's a few little things we need to iron out, and the next step is to, now that we have everything under one umbrella, is to do a monthly report to each department so they can see who's printing what. So that would allow them to then maybe ratchet down some more prints, if you will. So if they see on the report that, there's 1,000 prints in color by a certain person, they can go find out what's going on here. So that's the next step, is to develop that report.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, we have a discussion and or decision to approve and authorize the board to sign resolution number 54-2021 entitled a resolution authorizing approval to commence a public improvement project to construct extension of the Ottawa County Railroad Highway Trail and to acquire property for the project.
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Justin.
It's a trails thing, I knew you wanted.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Yeah. Mark, this is just for the acquisition of property, I'm gonna call it north of where we stopped our first trail stop
Yes.
between, are we going, this is gonna give you all the way to Underwood?
No, this is between Haney and the, second Mosquito Creek Bridge you get to before Weston.
It's just Andy Olson's.
No, you don't.
It's not specific, but it could be for any other, are you asking that it could be for any other acquisitions
Oh, okay.
further, future?
It says, whereas this project will not involve the condemnation of ag land. Okay,
That's not restricting us for the other.
Well, no, it does say from Council Bluffs to Weston.
This is the resolution that Matt.
It was the public hearing that we did last week.
Right.
Concerning the public hearing that we did last week, yeah.
And then the next step after this is,
Like, after you do this resolution, then I can get the appraisal updated, have the appraisal review, and then there's a time segment in there when you can actually negotiate a sale price or move to the next step if that is not something that can happen.
okay, any other questions? want to do a roll call, Mr. Hauser?
Sure. Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
and Shay.
Aye.
Okay. We're up next with Lee Voss, our treasurer,
I put this on,
Lester's treasurer.
I put this on the agenda. Lee asked me if there was a way that she could, possibly do some renovations in her office and eliminate the counter that goes back towards the safes
I'm not an engineer,
and extend the
But I am an
countertop all the way
artist.
across the front.
Yep.
Just take a haul
so
in
don't
hand.
hold me to this. I worked really hard on this.
Oh, so you're saying like get rid of that middle
Yeah.
U-shaped thing?
Oh, well, I don't even need to give it to you now, you already solved it.
Well,
You want one, Melvin? No.
Lee's done a,
People wanna know.
Lee's
What's
done
Lee
a
up to?
fantastic job in,
So,
cross-training her people.
right, we've multitasked and it's just hard that everybody comes in and we go like this. And if we could just cut that counter, Jason can handle that, and make it one counter across.
Give you a lot more space.
And then open up the middle to where, you know, I can see everything and my deputies can see everything. And then move the cashiers that are in the back that the money comes back to, like move those over to the side. So that,
I'm just kidding.
don't hold me to it.
No,
Okay, please don't.
you are an artist.
I mean, I am our artist. And then I'd like to get like a lot of the counties have the Qmatic system or one of them that, you know, when a clerk is ready, then it dings above their, space so that whatever happens, then I got a button to buzz them or something too on their chair. So that when people know that, you know, somebody's available, cause people just walk up constantly and I need all the help I can get for somebody to design this. Unless you're gonna go off my drawings, is fine.
Actually, can they take the counters that go back? Can they reuse some of that?
But I would hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
I see it's a lot more office space for you.
Well, it just opens up the, you know, and then the telephone desk are all together and I don't
Are
have.
you gonna keep the?
Is that you, really?
Yeah, right here.
Are
Yeah,
you-
can you
are
see me?
Are you gonna plan on keeping the plastic up across the front then still?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's gonna stay.
Okay.
You got the little speaker.
Well, it doesn't work.
No.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't open or something. That's the only problem. We have
Are those not
trouble.
improved ones, or those just,
Those are permanent.
okay.
Yeah, they made them
Are we
permanent.
doing that in-house, Jason?
I'm just hearing about it pretty much for the first time, so.
Is that something you could champion, Jason, and maybe get a hold of a couple of contractors and see?
I can get bids, but, I count 5 contractors, you know, would need to be involved with this. You'd have your carpenter, flooring guy, the glass and glazing guys to put the shield back, and then electrician we're gonna have, and then countertop, you know, manufacturer too, so. There's gonna be quite a few bids to get in order to get, you know, 3 comparable bids,
What,
so.
I guess, for Lee's sake, when would be the most opportune time to try to do that? What time of year would be the best?
How
for
soon do you want
you?
this done?
Oh, probably
Yesterday.
next week. That's fine.
In your-
Well, not,
Do it now or later?
I'd say towards the end of the year or the first part, you know, like after October, before March.
Let's get Jason Pine.
I know carpenters are booked out pretty far right now, decent carpenters. We've been waiting for some work to get done for months now, so.
You guys can't handle this in-house?
Not right now, not with their current workload.
Well, we're talking October beyond.
Yeah. I would say, probably not. we don't have a wood shop anymore. I mean, all of our tools are kinda here and there, and we don't, we're just not in a good position right now to do a project.
Will you be able to get some bids for this work, Jason?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have 8 stations now, pretty much? Is that-
I have more than that.
Oh, that's what I thought you had more than that.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're gonna.
Well, these telephone desks would go to the counter too, so you gotta add those in too.
Okay.
You're not
Okay.
losing any counter lineage.
No, but they always go to the counter too, so you got 8 plus, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7 more.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they all go to the counter too.
Okay. Sounds good.
So what do you need from us? Approval to move
$1
ahead?
million? Oh,
Well, at least you're honest.
Is
I
that,
think,
is that
I just
something-
need an architect to
I think we just.
design something.
You did not move forward, and then when we get the bids, we'll approve them then.
Yeah.
Somebody, how do you do that, Jason? Does somebody come in and just look at it and,
I'd probably have to draw up the plans in order to get apples to apples bids, and once I got that, I mean,
is that something Carol can do?
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, how hard is it to take this and put it on something that these contractors can do? Cause I know I can go hand this to a contractor today and get a bid, so I mean, how hard is that gonna be for you?
It's a hell of a drawing.
geez, I feel honored.
I just
I have
think
a niece that's an architectural engineer that I was gonna call, but she wasn't home, so I couldn't do it.
Okay, we'll direct Jason, go ahead and get some bids for
Yeah.
that work and,
Yeah.
bring it back to us by.
Time it so it's not disruptive for, we're.
Well, we worked before in remodeling, I'm sure we
No.
can work
Sure.
again.
Right. Well, they're gonna have a new, coming in a different way, and there's gonna be a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how the doors
You'll
work.
be losing some counter space while we're doing it. You're gonna
Which,
concentrate on
yeah, we can-
what's left. And
we
it
can-
might only take a
When
moment
you
to
say
do
you
it.
don't know how the doors work, what doors?
I don't know how, like, if
This
the
is not a
front,
hard thing to do.
Jason said the
Our
lobby
workshop,
part
it'll take a day.
is the same, when they redo whatever, and I don't know if, we would redo those big doors or just open them up, or probably just open them up all the way is what,
Keep it simple.
yeah, and not even worry about that front part of the doors. Okay, thank you.
Yep,
Thank you in advance for getting that, those bids put together, Jason.
Okay, next up is approval and authorize chairman to sign employment agreements with Chief Information Officer, David Byer, HR Director, Jana Limerick, Engineer John Rasmussen, Buildings and Grounds Director, Jason Slack, Veterans Affairs Director, Nicholas Jedlicka, with the approval of this commission, Planning and Development Director Matt White, and Community Service Director Suzanne Watson.
So moved.
Before you do that, could we pull the Veterans Affairs Director contract out and just discuss it separate from the others?
Sure.
Okay.
Do we need a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve minus the Nicholas.
Yeah, yes, if your motion is to
Jedlicka.
approve all of them except for that one,
Right.
that'll work.
Okay.
I'll second this only for discussion.
Okay.
Leanne, what's the benefit or the purpose of having contracts with these employees?
I believe I've indicated previously to the board that I don't see a real benefit to the county. There is a benefit to the department heads because it gives them security for a year as far as, having a job. I know that the language of these agreements says it is not a contract, but it is a contract. It's an employment contract.
I did go back into the previous minutes, and it only went back to 2015. It's been on the board's agenda every year. I could certainly go back more if you're interested. So,
Leanne, why would we pull Nick's out?
Because he actually is employed by the VA commission and the supervisors approve that. So we need to have the VA commission approve the pay and then you guys can confirm it. So what I'll ask you to do today, because the commission doesn't meet until July, if you guys will approve that agreement subject to approval by the VA commission.
Yeah, I think even though the language of state code is that he gets to stay there anyway until the commission removes him.
I think for him, it's more of just letting him know how much he's gonna be paid. Because we really don't have any other authority over him.
I really don't, it's up to the board. I don't really care whether we have a contract or we don't. I just don't understand why we need one with anybody. The pay that's in the contract, that's a 2.5% increase from the previous year, correct?
Correct.
That's what everybody else gets.
Correct.
I don't see a need for a contract, in my personal opinion.
As far as, and I don't have a contract right in front of me, but I believe that they are also given some additional paid time off compared to other employees. But that would easily be something that you guys could handle as a county policy for department heads to just put it, and I think there was also something in there about amount of time when they leave or something.
Yeah, there is something in there about the additional 5 days, I believe.
So anyway, any of those things, because it's the same for all the department heads, that can just be the county policy. Just like you have a employee handbook, department head policy, it also includes these additional benefits. Because honestly, the only difference among these is just how much the pay is. And if there's a pay that they're hired at and then they're getting a consistent raise, or they, can discuss with the board directly, I guess, if they feel that they're being underpaid, they can do that at any point in time.
So,
How many other employees do we have contracts with?
None.
Just these?
so do you got any idea of the history on this, Leanne?
I don't. I suspect at one time something came up and it was suggested that we do employment agreements and call them not contracts. I don't know when this started. If it would have been when I was here, if someone would have consulted me, I would have said, no, these are contracts. Because calling them an agreement doesn't make a difference.
The minutes that I do say employment contracts.
Yeah.
The minutes themselves. So if I look in an HR file, I can tell you the first time that Mary started saving them. That doesn't necessarily mean this is when it started. So I don't know if this will help with your time frame or not. But it looks like 2005, there's one in there for David, but that's the only one that's in that folder. I mean, that just could mean that nothing else got saved in this folder and it's in their personnel files. But if we're looking for history, maybe 2005 is somewhere to start, I'm not sure.
Well, we were doing contracts when I got here. Maybe we were doing them in 98, I don't know. You don't remember, Tim? They used to come in every summer and give their little pitch.
I recommend not doing them, to be honest. Make some policies regarding the additional paid time off and whatnot, and not have these agreements, because if you decide you don't like how someone is performing and say it's September, you're gonna have a hard time getting out of not paying them through June, And I know that one of the reasons that I was told that they keep doing this is because there was someone, a department head, that they wanted to get rid of, but apparently it was getting close to the end of the contract, so they simply didn't renew it. But I think overall, the risk of that is, that's counting on somebody screwing up in April or May so that at the end of June they're gone. But then if somebody messes up really bad in the fall, you're paying them a lot of money or you're going through a lot of litigation and hassle to get rid of them when you need to get rid of them much quicker.
I think, let's just get rid of the things. If we have to
Jim,
go back
are
and
you here
change
when
it
they
later,
got
we'll
rid
change
of
it. It's
the-
not that big a deal.
Jason's predecessor?
Either way.
So let the contract go?
Let's just get rid of the contracts, keep them as
I'm
full-time
kinda
employees,
leaning
and if
that way.
they screw up, we'll fire them. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean,
But, you know, all of these people that are listed here as contracted employees, they all do a spectacular job with us.
yeah,
I don't think we're,
I agree.
you know, and
It's not on the
that
horizon.
doesn't mean that couldn't change in a second. But
Jim had
I
it.
just I don't think we move forward with them. I think we just meet with Jana and maybe make a,
There's some that have to stay, so I think Veteran Affairs and I think Mark Shoemakers, and then I think those two have to stick around. But that's with their respective commissions.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And then the code says, subject to our annual approval, which basically is, hey, make sure you got the money to pay this budget that they're recommending you pay, you know?
That's the Nick Jedlicka one.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we're fine.
So,
I'll
can I,
I'll withdraw my second for
I'll-
discussion.
I'll withdraw my
And
motion.
we'll just, no action taken, I guess.
can,
If that's okay?
Or do you need us to like
can
And
I,
then
formally remove them?
we would need to do that next week.
We can do it today, this is all part of the same.
Can we?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we do next week?
what, can I ask a,
Can we reject the contracts?
so, is Garfield not on a contract then?
No. Garfield is not, the position is a manager, not a department head.
Okay.
And so Garfield's position has a step in grade where department heads do not. We just get the July 1st. So it's a little bit different.
Oh,
Okay. So do we want to make a motion to do away with contracts?
Yes, I think to make it very clear. And what I would prefer is that you keep your motion, the one that you have had, and then let it die for lack of a second.
Well, one second.
I seconded for discussion only, and I withdraw my second.
Isn't there something though I'm just asking, in the code for the engineer, the county engineer? For
For him specifically, I would have to look.
the code?
To have a contract or to have some sort of employment agreement?
Yeah. Does it, I don't know, it seemed like there was something for the engineer that was different for everybody.
So if we let this motion die, can you look that up and bring it to us next week?
I'm going on vacation tomorrow, so no.
Anywhere exciting?
Pennsylvania, my nephew graduated high school,
Cool.
so first time I get to see family in a couple of years. I can ask Matt to look at it, he'll be here next week.
Okay.
Do we need to gather more information?
I guess the question now is, do we need to formally remove these contracts or just move on?
Oh,
Well,
I
the
think if they don't sign, then they're done for, aren't they?
Well,
Right,
it just
current
means they don't have a
contract expires the end of
I don't think it means they're
June.
terminated, I just think this means they don't have a contract that guarantees their employment.
I'd like to see some legal counsel on it. See what Matt says if you're not gonna be here.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a big deal at all.
I don't either. But if we have a possibility of John, we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So if we want more information, we could table it. I don't know if next week is enough time.
It isn't because Matt's out until Friday, so he's not gonna have enough time to look at this. If we could table it to the 29th, we could have an answer for you by then. I realize that's putting things quite late, but.
Well, yeah, we got till 1 July, right?
Well, no, because payroll has to be entering that information before then. Could we indicate something like, we're tabling this, but,
Why don't we just?
I mean, we already know they're part of the other employees that you've already voted on the 2.5.
And then just have them rescinded once we get the.
When are
answer.
you leaving?
No,
And then we're good.
tomorrow. What you can do is approve the pay raise so that it can all be put into payroll, but the contract themselves, you're not approving.
We approved the pay raises for everybody else.
We did it via the budget.
I just did it with those other contracts.
Yeah. So,
Union
you know what,
contracts.
if you wanna do that, I'll make a motion to, approve the salaries that are listed in the quasi contracts that we may be, not extending.
Well, can't you
You
just say,
approved a
well,
2.5% pay raise for all
can't
department
you just
heads.
say 2.5%, for department heads?
Yeah, we can do that. Does that sound better?
Yes.
Yes,
I think it would.
and that the employment contract, so really, 3A is being tabled, right?
Then do you need to add in the 40 hours?
I'll bring policy in front of the board and we'll add it in there.
The what was that question, Mitch?
The personal hours or whatever.
Oh.
Again.
So the motion is to approve a 2.5% increase in the department head salaries.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
And just no action on the,
Correct.
on A, all right.
Died for a lack of second.
Well, if you withdraw your motion, we'll just put no action.
Just withdraw the motion. You didn't do anything.
It's only for John Rasmussen that you're thinking there may be a requirement that we have a
But
contract?
maybe it's something that you just have to identify
I know
that.
you have to have a county engineer, I do know that
Identify
much.
first of the year or something.
We just wanna make sure that that's correct,
Yeah.
or if we have to have a contract with him.
Well, and what I'm thinking is, you don't have to have a contract with these other people, so you could go ahead and get rid of the contracts now, and by June 29th, when I'm back, I'll be able to tell you whether or not you need something for John, and we can have something ready at that time.
Maybe we do it at the very first of every
Or you could probably
January.
ask John if he would probably know.
So, okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. So everyone gets a 2.5% raise. Was that consistent? We don't know if that would be consistent with the commission or, with Mark's.
It was for Mark's, yes. Doug had a 3-year contract with, you'd have to look at it, but I think he gets a 3% this year,
Okay,
which is what was in it, but he's in the 2nd year of that 3-year contract, so it had already been approved. But it is in there for you to see, just receive and file.
okay.
And then I did speak with Nick this morning, he'll get it on the commission's agenda.
Did we invite any of the department heads to discuss this with us?
Typically, it just goes on the agenda, sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't.
But we did not at this time?
I did not send them a special invitation about it, right? Usually, we don't have this much discussion, it's just goes on, it's approved, we move on. So there's usually isn't this kind of discussion. But I think over the past year, we've really been thinking, what is the purpose of these? Why are they needed?
We've always done it that way.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
that excuse covers a lot of ills in society.
You know that's my pet peeve. I'll have a conversation as well with payroll and see what kind of history they can find on it. You know, why did we start, do we know when we started doing this and why? I think that's what we're not able to answer today. But what we have today is we have what we need for payroll to process pay increases for the end of this month, beginning of next month. And that was important time-wise.
Then we'll know more legals shortly.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So even if you had a contract, which I don't, in the past or present, if they did something that was justifiable offense or whatever, the contract would still allow them to continue to get paid through.
Like I said, I don't have one right in front of me. I'm pretty sure there was a for cause in there.
Okay,
So the legal argument is always, what is for cause? I mean, theft, that's for cause. They wouldn't be arguing that. But, you know, inefficiency in your job or something along
Right.
those
If
lines.
there was a committed crime or something, right?
Right, if it's a criminal offense, it's easy. It's, if just not doing your job well, that becomes more questionable.
okay,
Yeah, there is a termination section in there that talks about mutual agreement at any time, discharge for cause, exactly what you're saying. So it talks about, the employee handbook, right, when it comes to discipline and such. Unilateral termination by county in the event the employee is terminated by the board. Other than for cause, the accounting agrees to pay the employee 30 days severance pay. I still would question too whether.
I don't know that you can.
Yeah. And then death of an employee, the county agrees to pay the employee's estate any compensation due through the end of the month in which the death occurred.
I just think we gotta, you know, aside from all this too, we really need to look at, you know, okay, if we could do away with these contracts, fine, but we really need to implement some type of evaluation system.
Performance appraisals.
Like legit, because
Absolutely.
even with these contracts, I mean, if we were to try to get someone for inefficiency or whatever, we have no way to do that because we don't even keep track of how well they're doing throughout the year. Short of us having conversations, it's not documented. So if it's not documented, it didn't happen in the eyes of the law. So I mean, at this point, I think we need to come up with either quarterly evaluation, an annual or something.
I think that was one reason we had those liaisons years
Yeah,
ago, was those two.
5 years ago, I
Always.
drafted up evaluation forms for the board and we talked about doing them. We were going to do them and then we didn't. So, I mean, it's, I don't know.
I think we did them 1 year and then didn't do them
Yeah,
after that.
like the one, yeah,
Didn't we?
something like that.
Do we vote on that already?
On Wickman's
To the-
motion, no, yeah, I got a unanimous down here.
Okay,
I got a question, Mr. Chairman, did we make a motion for Lee Voss's renovations, or just?
no, we
Okay.
just told
right.
Jason to come
That's
back
what I
with the bids for the project.
Okay.
He thought there was 4 different trades that needed to be
Yeah.
involved with that. Okay, we need a motion and a second to approve the applications for a permit to display fireworks filed by Robert Caputo for display of 4th of July 2021 at 22881 Three Bridge Road.
So moved.
Okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay. Motion to adjourn,
I'll second it.
second Schultz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes.
There's a webinar today or tomorrow on ARP infrastructure funds. Have you guys seen one from